What's up guys, Matt here from DCLblogger.com. I wanted to make a video going through analytics of virtual land trading, virtual land investing, all that sort of stuff. Now, I kind of started my whole NFT career with Decentraland and virtual land. In fact, if you heard me on podcasts or anywhere, you'd always know that that's how I kind of started, right? I started in 2018 when I joined the Decentraland Discord, and thousands or if hundreds of people were like buying and selling virtual land from like hundreds of dollars to tens of thousands of dollars. And back then when I was doing some part-time work just to learn a bit of marketing, I was like, why am I even going to work when there's like tens of thousands of dollars to be made per month just buying and selling virtual land? Anyway, that's what I did for a whole year and a year or two. I did that for my first 2 years of being in the NFT space. That was my whole life, doing it full time. And then I kind of grew out to do more stuff with like art and stuff. But that's kind of where I made most of my wealth. So I wanted to go through the basis behind that, whether that's a good thing, the longevity, long-term vision for this, and whether it's going to pan out, blah, blah, blah. So very quickly, Decentraland is one of many. There's Axie Infinity. There is Somnium Space. There is many. So you can go down here, you can see what they look like. So on your virtual plot of land, you can build a conference center, you can build you can build a Burning Man, you can build other meetup areas and zones, you can build games and stuff. And the benefit is you own a piece of the world, right? So if you go to Decentraland, you can see that you can own any of these pixels. The light blue means that they're listed for sale. Green is Decentraland owned and managed areas where they're going to run events. Light gray are roads. Dark gray are privately owned and not for sale. These purple ones are districts, which are managed by different people. This one's called Fashion Street. This one's Virtual Reality Shopping Center. Ethereum District, the Battleground District, Dragon Kingdom, blah blah blah. You can kind of jump in the world. So do I have any open? No, I don't. You can go to the Decentraland events calendar. You can see all of the events happening. You can sign up to the event. You can see 18 people have signed up to this one. 67 people have signed up to this one. 147 people have signed up to this one. All this sort of events happening, and yeah, basically you can do whatever you want. So this is for Decentraland. You can build conferences, you can build games, you can build whatever you want connected to the blockchain. So you can tip in crypto, maybe you want to buy an NFT off the wall, you want to buy art, you can do all sorts of stuff, right? We can get into the depths of things, but basically the virtual land concept is that you can own a piece of land in a ideally busy space where you can build stuff. That's the thesis. So Decentraland kind of started 3 years ago, and they did a land sale, and I think it raised like $15 million in virtual land. This is back in late 2017 when NFTs were kind of kicking off, but then it was at the end of the bull cycle. So it kicked off and then it kind of died down for a bit. But back then, people bought a ton of land. You can see here how the valuations were. So this is just a time lapse of the 2-week auction. So in 2 weeks, you can place a bid wherever you want, and at the end of the 2 weeks, when the bid ended, you received that land. So you can see a lot of bidding wars happen in the center, and as they kind of moved out, but they stayed somewhere central. Here you can see some people buying here across the roads. You can see people trying to get them across the roads here. People trying to get them at the intersections. These are probably districts, so people trying to get them connected to districts. On the far outskirts, you can see not many people bid. People making roads, all kinds of stuff, right? And at the end, it ended like this. So you can see there was a massive skew towards the center, and the outskirts didn't really sell for that much. They went for about 1,000 mana, 1,000 to 2,000 mana. 1,000 was the minimum bid. 2,000 mana, you can see someone even bought, so that's why they had to hold a second auction. And the second auction did like 12 million or something, right? But anyway, you had to pay in mana, and that's how it all started. So suddenly a bunch of people had these lands, and they were like, oh, cool, we got these lands. And then the market kind of died down for the crypto space. Like the Bitcoin kind of crashed from 20,000 to 10,000. And then everyone was like, oh, I want to cash out, or I want to jump into crypto and doing all this stuff. And then they were trying to sell it. But back then there was no marketplace. Anyway, long story short, today we have this. For the first 2 years, there was nothing to do in Decentraland except for buying and selling pixels of land, of location. So there was all like, what is the world going to look like, and predicting where people are going to move. So even now, so let's jump into this popular area called Crypto Valley District, which is where a lot of really popular companies are, like Binance, Matic, Game Credits, Whale Token, Meme. There's like a ton of projects there. Decentraland HQ. What else is there? MakerDAO. So anyway, people building virtual companies and stuff in here to kind of give you an idea. So at the start, it was all speculation, right? People are just buying what they thought was good. But now, a little bit more things are happening. So you can kind of see this is Binance. Be good to kind of see the front of Binance. Pretty big building. You gotta wait till things load. Binance US, here you go. Binance US, you can go in there and you can see that they were giving wearables. You can get these hoodies and stuff that you can wear on your character. So you can see these are my characters. I wear a mask. Just got some random clothes on. But I have a mask on, which was one of the very first masks you got in Decentraland. In fact, it was the first mask you could ever get in Decentraland, one of 7 different types. So that's that area. If I click M, it opens up the map. And you can see how the pixels of lands are, right? So each pixel of land is 16 by 16 meters. And as you go out, you can see like this is a pixel of land isn't really that big. It's 16 by 16 meters. It's about this shadowy area on my right. So from here to here, even if I go across to the end of the shadow, it's pretty much the end of the land. So what I normally do is I personally like to go for estates. Estates are joined lands, and you can join a land if you have multiple lands in a row. So if you have multiple lands in a row, then joined lands have a higher build height. So the one land is only 20 meters build height. If you have more lands, you can join them together and build higher stuff. So if you have like 5 lands, there's a log formula to it. If you have like 10 to 15 lands, suddenly you can build like 40 to 50, 60 meters maybe. So that's why a lot of people have these estates. And you can see that Metakovan, our famous superstar celebrity Metakovan, who did the Beeple auction and owns all the Beeple stuff, he built a land, a virtual gallery. You can see people just built like random stuff. Oh, someone got me, locked me in here. It's a trap. Jeez. Okay, so that one's built some dancing spideys. That's cool. What's this? Grand opening. Liquid chain foundation. Nice. Let's keep walking. I want to show you guys Metakovan's land. So this used to be my land. I actually sold. So fun fact, this whole land was mine. I chopped it up and sold half of it to Metakovan for 110 ETH. That little section there, which is like 200k back then, or around there. In mana, there was about 1.5 million mana, so I converted it straight to mana because I'm a mana guy. But these lands here sold for 30,000 mana each because they were connected to a double road. They're next to Ethermon building, so Ethermon's going to be like this cool Pokemon style game. Connected to a double road. It's a pretty prestigious area, and it's also close to Crypto Valley, and there's also like Kraken coming here, and they're building more HQs here, so you're going to be close to all these HQs, Ethermon, double road, blah blah blah, all this cool stuff, right? So this is why I sold it to Metakovan for 30,000 mana a piece, and then this one sold for about 25,000 mana a piece for West Coast Bill, and then these ones are the ones I have left. So that was back then when mana was about 30 cents, or between 10 to 30 cents. So you can see, like, if you go to the top levels, then you can see the art pieces. Anyway, again, with valuations. So it started off with speculation. So for example, a lot of people are buying lands connected to roads because that's where you get guaranteed traffic, right? So if Decentraland grows in the user base of tens of thousands or millions maybe one day, then you can guarantee that no one's going to block you off if you have land connected to a double road. Whereas if you have them on the far outskirts or somewhere in the central, it's not too bad, to be honest, because you can just copy and paste this to or give this to someone if you have a good social media presence. So for example, me, I don't really care where my land is. I got land kind of in the outskirts. Like I got land here along with another 15 to 20 different collectors that are building galleries, and we just post our link and then we get hundreds of people rocking up because we got a good social media presence, right? So there's multiple things you can do, and the valuations, to be honest, it's all based on face value. So people in the far outskirts, they don't really charge much. 7 to 10,000 mana, you can probably buy a piece of land, which is now $7,000 US. In fact, if you go to this is the land bot. So you go to Twitter land bot, you can see what they've sold for. 7,500 mana, which is now $7,000. 6,700 mana, $6,500. For a very long time, the cheapest land was around 10,000 mana, back when mana was about 10 cents. So if you go to non-fungible, you can see that back in the day, so 2 years ago, 2.7 million mana was about 9 cents per mana. So that was like 210k. That was a record back then. The recent record, 300,000 mana, recent record in US dollars, is now more than this, but that's because the mana has gone higher. So people have been selling their land cheaper in terms of mana because they're getting a better US dollar conversion rate. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're a mana holder, you can probably get land. You have a pretty strong buy power right now. You can probably buy some land for pretty cheap. If you're coming in with US dollars, then it's pretty much the same deal. Like I could imagine this land going for, I believe it was like, this is the wrong picture. There was, I think there was like 210 pieces of land, or 220 pieces of land. So now that would be worth, let's just say the cheapest, 7,000 mana per land, 1.5 million. Yeah, you would have needed $1 million to get that. So yeah, you still would have got it cheaper in terms of US dollars, even if you had bought it back then. So what's going to happen, like, you got to keep an eye on mana, right? So if mana goes up too high, currently it's at $1, you can see it's just gone bonkers. It's like we were down here at the end of Feb, and then boom, this happened, and now we're up here. And suddenly people are like, shit, I'm happy to sell my land cheaper in terms of mana if I'm getting more US dollars. So this kind of puts valuations, it's very difficult because it's a very at the time kind of thing. Like if you're coming in with crypto and mana, then the cheapest lands are going for 7,000 mana. If they're connected to roads, in fact, this was a bargain, 5,900 mana connected to a single road. So anything connected to a road is usually more expensive. Usually it's like 1.5 times, sometimes 2 times more expensive. But because everyone's scramming out to try and cash out their mana in terms of dollars, they're like, oh, this is crazy. I'm sitting on like $7,000 to $10,000 worth of mana per land. So they're selling their land for that much. But if it wasn't for that, the current cheapest on the market is the current cheapest connected to a road, recently listed cheapest. I think that is 9,000 mana though. Like you can see here, there's nothing connected to a road, right? Gotta keep going. So those connected to the road usually are more expensive. So you can see how that one was a good deal. Also, the ones that are on the far outskirts are the ones that are the cheapest. So, like, this one here is on the far right. Red means they're owned by me, or at least in my wallet. But you can see here, this is on the far right. And so, being on the far right and not really connected directly with any district. Like if Dragon City had a lot going on, then that would be definitely more expensive. But because it doesn't at the moment, people are selling it for a pretty cheap price. So if you're going in the far outskirts or in the middle of nowhere or middle of somewhere that isn't really that hot, like for example, this whole area, there's not much happening here. The hot areas are Voltaire district because this has... Let me just show you guys. This has all the virtual galleries. So it's got like Super Air, it's got like Maker's Place, it's got all of them have come and set up a HQ. So if a lot of people want to get land next to those galleries because that's where people are building galleries, right? It's where all the big galleries have their HQs. So that being said, maybe you want to land. So this is where we are. You can see super rare building here. If you go inside, you can see some art, 3D art moving around. It's pretty cool. Pixel chain building. Got a feeling it's going to crash again. Super rare. So for example, yeah, you can go in, check out their art, go to different levels. They are, so Decentraland is making it more smoother. So eventually it's going to get to a level where it's running pretty smooth. It's running in its own client. There's so many more features yet to be released, but it gives you an idea of what kind of stuff can be built here. So some of them want to get land close to there, so you can go over here. This one recently sold for 200,000 mana, $200,000 pretty much. Similar style land from the other side. Oh, this guy's already chopped it up. Interesting. Okay. Cool. So yeah, some people might want to get land there. So you can see these ones here might be a good buy if that's the kind of areas you're looking for. This is Decentraland Museum, so more cool stuff happening there. There's this land going for 52 land pieces for 1 million mana. So yeah, 7,000. Let's just say that the cheapest is 7,000. So if you want the best bargain, it'll be 360,000 mana, but it is in the center of these districts. It's near a couple of popular spots, for example, Voltaire, Decentraland Museum, in between two Genesis plazas. So I would say this will be closer to 10 to 15,000 mana. Let's just say 10,000 mana. So yeah, 500,000 mana for this. So again, you can place a bid if you want to. You can place a bid for 500,000 mana, and if he accepts that 500,000 mana, well, you just bought it for way less than what he's listed it. So you'll have to do your research, kind of move around to see what lands are available. Maybe those. So this is a bit closer, but the thing is, like, the more lands you have connected to each other, suddenly, if you want to sell 138 pieces together, all right, even if you want to sell it for 10,000 mana a piece, that's still $1.4 million. That's still someone that needs to come by with 1.4 mil in their wallet that's ready to splurge. So it's illiquid the higher you go, the more expensive the estates. That's why the cheaper ones tend to sell better and a little bit more heavily priced. But again, it really depends on what you want to do. Say you want to build if you want to get something really prestigious in a really good location. Like I know the guy that owns this, but he's not going to sell this cheaper than 50,000 mana a land per pixel because it's connected to Genesis Plaza directly. It's a massive estate. It's on the double road, probably the best spot in the whole game, right? So this is like really, really premium. Then you can go, just to give you an idea, like during the auction, the single parcels that were connected to Genesis Plaza, like these ones, you can see here, this one. It doesn't show it here, but this actually sold for 500,000 mana in the original auction. That was when people were bidding against each other, but it's dropped since then. But yeah, if you want to get the best, you want to get something close to here, or you can go to certain areas. So for example, this is like a business area. This is become like a bit of an arty area, or you can make your own art area. For example, we made the art district, which, where we all kind of we all made like these art galleries and built like a little community amongst ourselves. So we don't really care about. Another session was detected, my bad. Yeah. So yeah, we don't really care about who's there. And anyway, so like 7,000 mana is the cheapest land, 10,000 mana for like a land connected to a road. The more central you go, suddenly it becomes like 15 to 20,000 mana connected to roads. Even if you go center, you can probably still pick up lands that aren't connected to roads. That's still kind of cheap. So that's 13,000 mana, 9,000 mana. See, 9,000 mana, even though it's somewhat central. 15,000, 100,000, 300, 278, 69, 80, 8,400. And then if you go near districts, so for example, if you go somewhere near like Vegas City, which is a popular district, or Etheria, if you want to get something connected to there, well, that's pretty cheap. 19,000 mana. Relatively cheap. You can see here the history of it. 37,000 mana, 50,000 mana, 51,000 mana in the early days. But now that mana is worth more US dollars, you can see they're selling it cheaper. That's an interesting case study there. So it's really hard to figure out and give you a value. I can only give it in terms of mana because I know I've been trading mana for God knows how long, 3 years of buying and selling land in mana. So, for example, this one right here, I would say this is pretty damn cheap. 161 lands divided by 1150 divided by 161, 7,100 mana a piece. And look how big that block is. But who's going to come by with $1.1 million, right? That's a very rare person. It's going to be very rare for someone to come by and get that. But in my opinion, I think this is one of the best because it's connected and surrounded by all these roads. It's pretty close to Genesis. It's 160 pieces of land together. Where the heck are you going to get 160 pieces of land together at 7,000 mana a piece? Tell me. This one is like 30,000 mana a piece. Yeah. That's like the only one currently, right? So depending on where you want to get, I think 7,000 to 10,000 mana is a good one. If you want to get in some better locations, for example, these were pretty good. But again, like it's hard to sell when you have 40 connected pieces. That's why this guy just took 200,000 mana. And the guy before him took, this one was also sold for, 300,000 mana, which is the identical piece on this side. Minus, I don't know why he's removed these for now. But yeah, they sold for, looks like they sold for, this one sold for 200 divided by 39. 5,000 mana a piece. So it's kind of like a pretty good time to buy if you have mana buy power. If you're coming from US dollars and ETH, it might be expensive for you. But those that have been holding mana for a while, like it's really cheap. You just have so much buy power, right? Lands were selling for minimum 10,000 mana, to give you an example, a few months ago. Now you can pick them up for 5,000 mana, but more in terms of dollars. So I'll be here for a very long time giving valuations, but you kind of get the gist. Where the closer to the center you go, the more expensive it is, obviously. The closer to certain areas like this art area, that business area, Vegas area. If it's in the middle of districts, the more central it is in the middle of promising districts, it's becoming more expensive. If it's in a certain area, for example, Metakovan's land, boom. If it's here, then sometimes people jump in. Sometimes people value it more, right? So when I sold to Metakovan, West Coast Bill wanted it right next to Metakovan, and then I got some other collectors that wanted it next to West Coast Bill. So like those kind of certain, if Atari deploys their land, and people would want it near Atari, so that will have its own price range. So you can see some people have put their art around. You can kind of get a gist of the sizes of the parcels. So for example, this is a 4-piece. This whole thing is a 4-piece. 4 pieces of land. Right. Then you can kind of get it bigger. Let's go here. What's this guy built? Nice. He's built a kind of open gallery. There's an exhibition here. This is also a 4-piece. You kind of see what. So again, like this can be just shared by the URL. Put this on Twitter, suddenly everyone jumps in here. So, yeah. I mean, we can dive in deeper, but I'll be here for ages. Just quick word on very brief valuations, and then so make sure you're looking at this bot. Also on my Discord channel. My Discord channel over here. You can see that I have this Decentraland sales notifier that pings me every time a sale is made. So boom, sales made, I get notified. So I can kind of keep track of how much these lands are going for. So you can see in this area, it's a bit more expensive. In this area, it's 5,500 mana. So it seems like 5,000, 8,000 mana seems to be the sales. But you can invest in land in different ways. Crypto voxels as well. This has a bit of a different view. It's got a different map. Origin city is like the original city, and then it's got like different little islands that you can buy that are cheaper. You can build again like voxel style buildings in here, which is pretty cool. Sandbox is a different game. Somnium Space is a different game. In fact, here's a really cool Somnium Space time lapse as well. You can kind of see how people just go for the middle, or those that go for at least near roads and near the rivers. And as the lands get built, again, like if it's URL based, it doesn't matter because you can just post on Twitter, and if you have a good social following, you can bring everyone in. But if in my view, if the world is gonna go really big, then you're probably gonna need a good location. So yeah, it's up to you, because it's so complicated. Because like with mana, do you want to buy and hold mana for a bit until mana goes higher and then buy land, because maybe by then it'll go cheaper? Or do you want to buy land because that'll secure you a spot in Decentraland so you can build stuff? It gets a bit complicated very quickly, but there's other stuff you can also invest in too. So for example, some people are buying Metazone buildings, and Metazone buildings are like these cool games and buildings that you can kind of deploy on your land. So for example, you want to create this gallery, cost you 250 mana, you can mint 5, and you can build and you can deploy this on your 2 parts of land, and you can drag and drop your art to it. So people are selling galleries, some people are selling games. So you can deploy this Corona zombie game, 20,000 mana, and then deploy this on your land, maybe charge people to go play the game. So there's all this kind of cool stuff that people are building. You can also buy names. So some people have names in Decentraland. Decentraland. But it's pretty cool to see the land projects kind of picking up. You can see Somnium Space at 1,400 Ethereum, Decentraland 1,200 Ethereum weekly. So they're kind of making their way back up. Kind of fell for a bit. And now as they're maturing, people are jumping back in and buying them. Where's the names? Decentraland names. So 24 ETH of names has been traded. You can see people creating and selling these names. Just like, it's your identity. It's the number that floats across your head. This one sold for $1,500, $1,500 2 days ago. This one sold for $1,000. This one sold for $9,500. Are you kidding me? 6 days ago. Flowers. What's so good about flowers? And flour. $12,500. $12,500 for a name. Jeez. Yeah. So names are a bet that this whole space is going to blow up, and there's going to be tons of users in Decentraland, and they're all going to want Victoria's Secret, 15,000 mana. There you go, guys. There you go. Look at this. Even the names: Columbia, Chanel, Lacoste, 20,000 mana. Levi Strauss, Tommy Hilfiger. Wow, someone's gone for all the really cool names. So you can buy these on OpenSea, so you can search for them. These are already claimed. So the way you claim a name is you go to Decentraland and you go to names and you claim a name. In fact, if you go to Decentraland names bot on my Discord, you can see all the names being claimed. So on the 19th, you can see people claiming Alligator Thorn. It costs 100 mana to claim a name. And then once you claim it, then you can put it for sale. So it's kind of like securing a domain name for 100 mana, and then putting up for sale, and then maybe selling it for tens of thousands of dollars or whatever. Hemp Doctor. I think it's going to get very, very rare to get names that are good. For example, eventually you're just going to have to get like, Oculus VR 126 or Ibiza 123, because there's like literally millions of names. But right now there's about 24,000 names. So maybe Pokemon character names, Donkey Kong, I got Satoshi Nakamoto, I got Neo, I've got some pretty cool names. That's one cool way to invest. There's also Decentraland wearables. Wearables have also picked up. In fact, I think Coley said that he sold crypto voxels wearable. I think it sold for like $1,500 recently. Yeah, I think these literally sold for $1,500 or something, because they're an artist, right? So if an artist makes shoes and stuff, I know Ferocious shoes, Decentraland. Ferocious made shoes in Decentraland. Atari made shoes in Decentraland, which is pretty sick. Where's Ferocious? The Moon Kicks or something. Yeah, these ones. That's pretty cool. These are in Decentraland. So like, as artists grow, these might go up in value as well. So that's the play. There's different ways to invest, and it's pretty fun, to be honest, because it's kind of like, again, the best money is made, in my opinion, predicting what's going to be into the future. So my prediction is that gallery or art owners are going to want to build galleries. These virtual worlds are going to mature, whether it's Decentraland, CryptoVoxel, Somnium Space, whichever. And then these integrations on NFTs are going to get a lot better in these platforms. And so artists are going to build there, and then artists' stuff, they're going to go on to make wearables and buildings and all these things in these lands. So it's kind of interesting ways to invest in different artists, because they're going to be doing different things as well. Anyway, guys, I don't know what else I can say, but to do your kind of homework and keep up to date with the valuation, I think the best thing to do is really just follow this bot, the sales bots, whichever one you are in, whether it be CryptoVoxel, Somnium Space, etc. You want to make sure, maybe nonfungible.com is a very good one that follows all of them. So you can go to the original website, and then you can go to Decentraland, you can go to Somnium Space. So if you click on Somnium Space, it'll tell me all the recent sales that are happening, and then you can kind of click and see, well, why did it happen? Okay, well, an extra large plot sold somewhere close to the river for 9 Ethereum. I believe that's a teleporter, sold for 6 Ethereum. This one as well, sold for 6 Ethereum, close to the river, close to the ocean, all right, ocean front. So these are all going for 6 Ethereum. Looks as well, it's the same buyer. So it looks like it's the one buyer that's buying a lot of these lands. But you'll have to know the current valuation. Geez, one buyer just down like 60, 120, 200, 250, 400 Ethereum. That's crazy. 720k. One guy just came and just splurged 720k in the last 24 hours. That's nuts. Okay, well, there you go. Anyway, do your research on the recent sales. Keep up to date with it. I think it takes some time to absorb what's a good valuation, and then go in and check out the world and get a feel of what's where. You can go do that by going to the Discord for these worlds and asking what's the best spots, and then jumping in and seeing like what's trending, what's kind of getting the most traffic, and who's building where, and then kind of make a decision based on how big your land you want, what you're doing, whether you're maybe building a company, maybe you're buying some land individually. If you want to get in touch with me, you can. I have access to some of the biggest lands in Decentraland. I have access to this massive land, 568 pieces is this one. All of these, I know the people that own them, probably work out a price for you. I know the people that own all this. I think these guys want to make another kind of like mini city here, so selling land for about 7,000 mana a piece in pieces of 4. So imagine if everyone just has land next to each other, maybe building galleries and stuff. So anyway, hope you learned something. That's a quick land analysis video, but again, a bit of light on the NFT space, or at least the virtual land NFT space.